Hey everyone, it's Terry with Terry's Tidbits in the Des Moines Area Community College. In today's study group, for the admin study group, for those of you who are following, we took a look at page layout assignments, record types, and business processes. We also spent some time doing some Q&A on some of the topics that we've talked about up to now. If you have been following this and you've been interested in getting your admin certification, please subscribe to the channel. That way you get the updates as we get these posted. Also take a look at some of the other previous videos that we've done on different study groups. So those are all great resources if you are looking for your certification. Let's go ahead and get started today. Thanks. Hey everyone, it's Terry with Terry's Tidbits. I am so glad you're here. Turn it over, Kevin, to you and let you take us through page layout assignments, record types, and business processes.
Oh, this is going to be a fun one, guys. All right. I think, can you guys see that?
It's coming. Yes.
Okay. So here we go. So we're going to talk page layout assignment, record types, and business processes. Terry, I tried to use, actually, while we're doing this, I tried to use the templates, but they were locked for me.
Okay.
So I wasn't able to do that, so I had to use PowerPoint. So let's see if I actually have this working right. There we go. Page layouts review. Page layouts determine which fields are displayed to users on a record. They allow you to add fields, sections, links, custom buttons, and other features. They are used with the intent of creating customized experiences for users. It's a way to use one object type but provide different information to users based on their user profile. And please keep in mind, you can only apply one page layout to one group of users per object per record type. That's confusing. Page layout to one group of users per object per record type. And because it sounds confusing, you can guarantee they'll have something of that on the test.
What is that group of users?
It is done by profile.
Profile. Yes.
Yes. So just a little tidbit there. So here's my case scenario. We have a marketing team. They want to revamp their lead object. They've created a call team to reach out first to gauge interest of their product versus having the actual marketer make the calls for the sale. So what they want for this team that's making the preliminary call is a very slimmed down look of the lead. So they just want the lead owner, name, company, status, email, and phone number. My next screen here should show you if I did it right. Yes. So when you get into the back end here, when you go into setup, and I can show you real quick by bringing this up here. So I'm in setup right now. Obviously you come here, you go to setup, come to your object manager. I use the quick find, put in the lead, click on the lead, and then you can go ahead and look at your page layouts. And they'll have them all listed here. This is the one that I created, but these, when you look at your org, this is what comes in your sandbox from Trailhead. They have different layouts, and I'll kind of show those up here. So this right here is current page layout for the marketer leads. You can see it has a lot of information: owner, name, company, title, primary, lead status, so that's what they want. That's in my scenario here. That's for the actual marketer who's going to be pushing the sale, but that's not what they want for the person filling out first. So what we do is that you'll go to setup, like as I just showed. I was ahead of the times. Go to object manager, search for your object, lead here, go to page layouts, and you'll see these as I showed, and then you'll click new. And I remember how to do this. Now, once we've selected new, you'll be brought to this screen where you can choose to create a new layout from scratch, or you can clone an existing layout. Since we're making a change to an already existing one, I did a clone here, but I can bring back the org that I was just in. I can click new, and you can see the ones that are currently there. I can go with none and be real bold. name it whatever, and then hit save, and we'll go on with what I have on the screens from there. So you can see I did existing page layout, and from the previous slide, you'll see that I named this test lead marketing layout since we're testing these leads. So here's the newly requested layout. As I said previously, the requirements were they want a name, phone number, company, status, email, and the lead owner. What's nice here is that you can make this however you want. You can move the fields around to wherever whether you set it up your way or if they've given you a template of how they would like to see it. So it doesn't have to be in this order. So now that we have the, you'll hit save, you have your new page layout. We'll need to assign that to a profile. So let me bring this up real quick to show you how I got to this. So we have the page layout here. In the back end, you'll hit page layout assignment, and it brings you to this big grid, which is kind of what I'm showing there. From here, you can go ahead and edit the assignment. You can assign it accordingly. I did, for this demonstration, make a separate profile, which I cloned off the custom marketing profile. I called it test marketing profile. I have gone ahead and assigned the test lead marketing layout to them so that anyone that has that profile will get the limited version of the lead. I've probably shown that here. There we go. Did I skip? Oh, no. So I've done all this. I've assigned it to the profile. We now have the page layout. Now what I did is I created a user. I assigned them the test marketing profile. And on the next screen here, I used Melanie Smith, my wife. She was excited that I'm using her. And what I've done is I've created a lead. Now, again, she has limited lead information. Oh, let's not do that. So you'll see name, phone, company, who was created by, status, email, lead owner, and you'll see that the last modified is in there as well. Very basic, very quick. And again, the reason we do this is so that we're using the same object, but they have the ability to have different views. And let's do the next one here. So our marketing team's happy, right? They have the new view for the new team that they put together. But now the marketing team has split into the North and South regions. And the North region wants to use different lead statuses of new, not contacted, hot converted, warm contacted, and cold not converted as their status. South wants to go ahead and keep everything the way that it was normally. So how will we achieve this? We're going to have to use record types. Now, record types let you offer different business processes, pick list values, and page layouts to different users. It allows you to create different processes on an object. And in this case, we'll be changing the pick list values for that lead status. Means that with record types, you can apply multiple page layouts per object, per user profile. Terry, am I missing anything here? Any questions or so forth?
You're doing fantastic.
All right. So we'll navigate back to setup here. We'll select the object manager. We'll go to our lead. We'll then select record types. And what you'll find is this lovely little warning. I can't do it now because I've already put one in. But if you've never done a business process, you'll need to go ahead. If you've never done a record type, you'll come to this. And it'll say a leads record type must be associated with the leads process. And currently, we don't have any leads processes active at this time. So I had to go and create those. So here we go, business process. In this case, for the lead. Terry, you have anything yet? Okay, just making sure. So what is a business process? And a business process for this example is a way to have different pick list values for the record types associated to the lead object. Process must be created first before you can create any record type. So in this case, what object supports a business process, the lead, opportunity, case, and solution. And Terry, I've never heard of solution.
Knowledge.
Okay.
Think of it more from the case management type standpoint. It's related to knowledge.
Okay. Will they talk about solution on the test? I don't recall. No.
I didn't recall that one. In fact, when you asked me about processes, I quickly rattled off the three that are exactly the same. And Reggie, this is kind of your presentation here as well, so you can kind of steal some of it from Kevin for next week. But your business processes, they're identical on these objects. If you learn it on one, you're going to know it on the others. So it's important just to remember lead, opportunity, case, and evidently solution. But I doubt that you're going to run into solution. But it's good to know.
Excellent. So what I did is I had to do some pre-work for this, right? So I'll show you what I did. In order to get those pick list values, I had to come to the fields and relationships section of the lead. I had to look up lead status, came into the lead status here, and I had the first four, which was open, working, closed, and converted, closed, not converted. Now, I had to go ahead and do the pre-work, or before I could do that, so I put in the hot, warm, cold, and new. And in this case, a hot converted, you had the section here, so I did make that if it was in the hot status, lead status, that it would go ahead and convert that to over. However, you can only have one default here, and Terry, I don't know why.
Yeah, and when you've got record types engaged, that default means absolutely nothing. Because your record type is going to control your default because it's now specific to the record type. So
which is what
yeah. So if you go to your record types and look at that, and I don't want to derail you here, but when you look at your record types, you'll be able to choose that default for any pick list.
So we do have the record types here, and I'll kind of show you what I did with this. I moved the ones out because when you come in here, it gives all of them available. So I removed these four for the South leads because they, again, wanted to have the original values. I created a leads process for the North. And I tried to use kind of the same naming convention. It'll get really, this isn't going to be on the test, but just for your knowledge, if you've never done this before, it's probably best to keep these as similar as possible with your page layout, your lead process, and your record type. Because if you don't, and you have multiple record types like my org does, it gets confusing as can be. So.
Yeah, and you can see there's your default down there at the bottom of that.
Right.
That's so the one that's going to matter.
Yep. And so this is where you can kind of overwrite that. So I kept it with open, not contacted for the South. For the North, I set the default to be new contacted. Yeah. So we'll come here. Now, once you've created your processes, then you can navigate back to the lead object to select the record types and then select new. You'll come to this screen below, and this is where you'll fill in the fields needed to create your new record type. So I can actually probably just work through one here. So come to record type there. We'll go ahead and we'll click new. As you see, it was a screen I was just showing you. So you have the master, or you can go with the North or the South leads. I've already done that. So you can come here. These are from other things I've done as well. Put in your label, which in the case was my North or South lead. Created the record type, lead process there. So now see how it all matches up for us. Keeps everything in line. And then you can go through, Terry, I'll make one.
You have an East leads now or something.
Yeah, let's do that. East leads. We'll do the South leads there just for testing. We'll go next. And then the next screen, which I do have on the PowerPoint as well for you, is where you can actually go ahead and assign this. Now you can assign it to all page layouts, or to all profiles, or you can come through and choose. So, Terry, I don't know what's the best practice on that, to be honest with you.
But I would create your page layouts before you go into this, just so that it's ready, because it's a lot easier to manage some of that here. You can do it either way. It doesn't really matter. But I don't know that there's a best practice per se, as much as it depends on your requirements. So okay. You have to just know what your users are needing to see. One of the things I will tell you, though, that I consider to be a best practice would be in the naming of your profiles. It's always a nice idea to name your profiles with like the name of your company or name of the division, so that when you come to this page, it's really easy to see if it's ABC Trucking is our company. If I start all of my profiles with ABC Marketing, ABC Sales, ABC whatever, then when I come into this page, they're all going to be grouped together, where it's a lot easier to manage and find the correct profiles when you're doing your assignments like this. So that's one thing that I would recommend if you don't do that. Have a good naming convention for your profile, so they're grouped together and easy to identify which ones are yours.
Absolutely, because this was my third org from yesterday, because I wasn't following that practice.
Yeah, because you look at that list of profiles. If you're new to this org, unless you've been in Salesforce for a long time, you have no idea which ones are. Yeah, I guess you have custom in front of them, don't you? It's really hard. It's hard to know which ones are the ones you need to worry about.
Exactly. And I didn't put custom in front of it. I just made test marketing profile.
Okay.
On there for that. And I was like, wait a minute, where's it at? And I was freaking out. I was like, well, we're alphabetical here. It's the last one, of course. So there's that. So I went ahead, as the screen I was showing you here, I assigned the South leads. I applied it to the one profile because it's the one profile that needs to have this set up for them for the test marketing profile. Went ahead and hit save and did it again for the North as well. And below you can see, here I am logged in as Melanie again, right? And I've gone in, and I can show you here in a second, and I've created a new lead. And now when I hit new, I get select lead record type. So in this case, it is South lead. And you can see that the lead status is what I set it to previously. And I can fill in all the information, and look, it's our friend Carla Helen. And if you go to the other one, I did it for the North as well. Oh, I put them side by side to go ahead and compare. That's what I was doing. Late at night, guys, I apologize. So the lead status for the South was open, not contacted. I did one for Nicholas Batum of the Toronto Raptors. He was actually with the Magic, but lead status, new, not contacted. And that's really my presentation up there.
Go back one slide.
Yes, sir.
Right here. What would you do if you did not want them to see that record type selection screen?
This one, this right here?
Mm-hmm.
I would probably have to update the page layout of the lead, right?
Okay. Anybody else? That meant that was the wrong answer.
Yes.
just being subtle.
I will swing and miss. That's okay. We're here to learn.
Anybody else have a thought? If you don't want that to show up, so I'm assuming these people are in two different geographical areas. Did they share the same profile?
This is the same. You mean Carla and Nicholas? Or the user
the users, the South leads people and the North leads people. Are they
one user can do both?
Okay, one user can do both. All right, so let me change your scenario slightly, and let's say that we have a South territory and a North territory, and they work North works the north leads, south works the south leads.
Mm-hmm.
They never cross over. What could you do to prevent them from seeing that record type screen?
Profile.
Yeah. Your profile setting for that object, you're able to manage which record types a person can see. Does that make sense, everybody? This is a screen that I despise if I can at all eliminate it. For usability's sake, I will do my best to try to eliminate this screen.
And I apologize that it's in Classic. I couldn't figure out how, when I log in as a user,
That's funny.
But at least I figured out how to log in as a user in my sandbox.
Very good. Good.
So that was the end of my presentation.
Okay.
I'm sure that I've missed. I'll stop sharing here some things. I was hoping, Terry, you could help fill in the blanks somewhere.
You covered a good chunk of, I think, what was important there. I like the fact that you did it as scenarios. I think that was a good approach, because a lot of all of your questions, not a lot of them, all your questions are going to be scenario based. So the way that you went through that, I think, is a really great way to kind of view it. So Kevin, nice job. Any questions from anybody on that topic? So are any of the topics that we've covered so far? Because if you don't, I do. Hey everyone, I just wanted to interrupt briefly to again say thank you to our sponsor, the Des Moines Area Community College. Here locally, we call them DMACC, dmac.edu. If you are interested in any form of education, continuing ed, please check out their website. We are working closely together to get some Salesforce specific training put together. So check that out if you're interested in learning more and having a classroom style training for Salesforce. Thanks again to the wonderful folks at DMACC. And unfortunately, I didn't get, with my not being able to get into my Salesforce org, I didn't get the questions set up in the app yet. So I found a backup copy of my questions on a spreadsheet. And then, so I'm going to read the questions to you. And then I'm just going to have you tell me what you would see as the answer. I'm not going to give you the multiple choice. I'm just going to let you kind of do it more essay style. Does that work for everybody? Everybody is so excited today. This is fantastic. Feel free to help each other as well. So Spencer, we'll start with you on the first question, then Reg and Ashley, Brock, Bethany, and then back to you, Kevin. All right, so the first question to Spencer. Universal Containers is implementing a new Salesforce instance. They want to load 350 user records, but they don't want the users to receive a notification email. The CSV file has been created for all user settings. How would you add these users? I can repeat it if you want me to.
There's an importer tool, right?
There is, yep.
And so I would probably do that. And then I think there's a setting to not notify new users, like a checkbox, don't notify, that you would also check.
Any other thoughts on that?
Are we using data loader for that?
You have 350 user records.
Yeah, data. Whoa.
Yeah.
I'd be using data loader.
Okay. Use data loader. Okay. Do you have to do anything special with that?
Because you don't want to notice going to the people, right?
Right. And that's the key piece of the question, is we don't want to notify the users.
What's the other tool that I can't remember off the top of my head. What's the other tool that you could use besides data loader to do this?
There's the import wizard.
Oh, the import wizard. I think you can use that as well. Because isn't it 1,000 records, I believe? I think it's 1,000. or under 5. So import wizard, and there is a way to there is a toggle to not notify. So I think Spencer's right, but you're making it sound like he's not. So.
I am double checking myself on that too. What I can tell you, I know for sure, and I am trying to double check on the import wizard, is that if you load it through data loader, it will not notify them. So data loader, I know, is the right answer. I am checking to see what I have for.
Harry, why did they? I mean, we use data loader exclusively. We don't even work with the import wizard at this point. What was what was the idea behind having the import wizard? Was the import wizard first, and then they came out with data loader, and they just never deprecated the other one, or?
No, I think the import wizard was specifically done for novice users, where data loader is just more complex. The import wizard gives them a nice, simple interface to walk through. And so that's the reason. It's a different audience for the most part.
Okay.
I cannot at least quickly disprove the import wizard. I'm kind of curious. I wonder if I can just try it real quick. Let's just log in and take a look at it and see. All right, so if I go into setup, so don't want to give you a wrong answer here. Import, data import wizard. And we are going, get launch. I don't even see users there on the list. So it's standard and custom objects. That's what I was kind of thinking. That I think kind of proves that. If anybody does a search and can prove that different, let me know. But it doesn't look like it's even an option to import them through this method. So interesting. All right. Validate that one if you get a chance. Reg, ready for your question? All right. Universal Containers wants to keep the Salesforce accounts in sync with accounts in their ERP system. Well, this might be a little tough. This might be a little more than what we've studied so far, but we'll try it. See how we do. So they want to keep their Salesforce accounts in sync with their ERP system. They want to set up an automated nightly job to load the data. The ERP uses a unique ID to identify accounts. So our records all have a unique identifier. As a Salesforce admin, how would you set up Salesforce to use the unique ID for data loads? So this is kind of borderline admin advanced, but
is there an external data field that you would use?
Yeah, what type of field? You're on the right track. Yeah. Because it's a checkbox that's on one of the field types that is an external ID. Yep.
External non.
So when you create a new field, it presents a series of options for the field type.
Yeah.
And it's a list of radio buttons, kind of long list.
Yeah.
Yep. Anybody got a helping hand there?
What was the question again, Terry? I'm sorry. I'm trying to think.
As a Salesforce admin, how would you set up Salesforce to use the unique ID for data loads?
And you just wouldn't use the unique identifier, the unique record ID? that already exists in Salesforce? You want to create another one?
Yep, you're going to create another one, right? You can't use the one Salesforce has created because its ID is you don't have any control over when you import records. So if our ERP system has that unique identifier, and we need that to be in Salesforce, we'll have to load it as a custom field.
We went over this when we were doing fields earlier. At external non, I can't think of what it's called. Sorry.
No, it's all right. So there's if we're going to match on it, you're on the right track with the external. It's a text field, and you're going to flag it as an external ID. And then you also have the ability to flag it as a unique value, unique ID. I think it's called unique ID on that. So that's
external ID. So you have. So I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, share your screen real quick if you got it up. I was going to go there too.
Yep. One moment. Let me find the right screen here. That is not the right screen. Can you see it?
Yep. There you go.
So let me just go previous real quick. You go and you add a new field. In this case, we're talking the text. So you wouldn't use any of this. You're using right here. Hit next, label it, length, all the good stuff right there with your help text. If it's required, unique. So this is where you click unique to not have it be duplicate values, right? Because you want it unique from the previous system.
Yep.
And then set this field as a unique
external. Yeah, and the reason you want the external ID there is because that technically this is more architectural related, but just for your information knowledge sake, external ID is going to index that field in the database. So your searches are going to be significantly faster than if you don't flag that. So it's a good one to set.
So you do want to set it as unique, even you want to do unique and external ID, correct?
Yeah, because your external ID, it is a unique identifier in another system, but unless you flag the unique, it wouldn't necessarily have to be unique in Salesforce.
Okay.
You would think in theory it should be, but.
And then depending on how that system treats
case sensitivity,
you can go from there. Okay, cool. I'll stop sharing.
All right, cool. Ashley, let's see. Universal Containers is having trouble getting the sales team to adopt Salesforce. So it's a user adoption issue. After talking with several users, you learned that there were too many fields that didn't apply to them. This sounds a lot like Kevin's use case. Many of those fields, if left blank, would cause errors on saving. As their superstar admin, that's you, Ashley, what are some techniques you can use to help solve these issues? So multiple things happening there. There's a lot of fields they're not using. And it sounds like they get errors if they don't fill out everything.
Probably the record types. So that way you can clean up the fields that they need to have access to.
Okay.
And then apply those to their current profiles. So they are only accessing the record, maybe singular record type or multiple record types that they should have access to, and then control the page layouts.
Page layouts, that's a key piece.
Yeah. Yep. And then I would check in it, depending on the object, what processes are related to airing out those fields.
And what would cause errors? I mean, what What tool would you be looking at there to find those?
What do you mean? What tool?
What feature of Salesforce would you use to present the user with an error message if they didn't fill something out?
A validation.
Oh,
Validation role, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do a validation role for sure.
Yeah. Now, do you have to do a record type in this case?
Well, not for field validation, no. But if you wanted to, not show them certain fields, then I think at that point it was a standard object. You would need to.
Anybody disagree with that?
Could you use permission sets or not now because it's field related?
Permission sets could help you control field visibility. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could just take it off the page layout. It's not required.
Take it off the page layout. Yes, there you go, Ashley. Right. And that was what I kind of was waiting for you to say there, is that you don't have to have a record type. You could just assign the page layout, have a unique page layout for that profile.
Sure.
Now I know that we're at a disadvantage with me reading these questions, but I'll take this as a point to. This was one of the things that would hang me up a lot on some of these exams, is that I would get a question like this and I would think, well, shoot, I've got a couple more questions that I need to know before I can answer this right. Because I would be thinking kind of probably along the same line. It's like, okay, are there multiple sales teams, and are they all on the same profile? Do we need different record types? There's a lot of things that you could ask related to some of these questions. And the frustrating thing is you don't have somebody to ask those to when you're taking the exam. You're presented with the question just as it is, and you have to answer based off of what's given to you. So take that in mind as you are going through questions. Don't make an assumption of something that isn't written. Otherwise, it could take you down the wrong path. So be careful of that as you take exams. This is a great question for one of those that it's like, I need more information. All right, good. Brock.
Yes.
Let's do universal containers is adding a partner sales channel. The partners will need access to create and edit opportunities via a Salesforce community or experience cloud. What Salesforce license would you need to purchase to ensure they have access to create opportunities?
That's a great question, Terry. Glad you asked me.
Would you like me to give you the options?
Please.
All right. Yeah, this was a little bit harder to probably pull off the top of your head. Okay. Salesforce Enterprise license, a customer community license, employee community license, a partner community license, a channel account license.
I'm going to go with B.
A customer community?
Yes.
Okay. Here's what they're specifically looking for. They need access to opportunities. And so there's 2 community licenses. Well, there's 3, there's multiples, but a customer community license and a partner community license. The primary difference between the 2 is visibility to opportunities. And so if they need opportunities, it's going to go into the partner license.
Okay.
Okay, cool. That's probably a little tough to know without doing a little study on licenses, but you could get hit with something like that.
Is that also true with leads? Partner community versus
customer community. I know customer community has access to accounts and contacts and any custom objects. I don't think that they have visibility to leads.
Because couldn't leads be considered an opportunity too?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Well, in my brain it does, but in Salesforce apparently not.
A lead, a lead is somebody that you don't know really much about, and they may or may not know anything about you yet.
Okay. Right, which we work with leads a lot. We don't work with opportunities yet. So
yeah, and marketing people generally work with leads. They are folks that you're trying to get them to know who you are, and you're trying to get to know who they are. So it's kind of that dating game kind of going on as a lead,
okay.
Where you're trying to get to know each other and see if there's a decent fit to go to the second date, maybe.
Gotcha.
All right, cool. Bethany, while we're talking to you, we've got the next one. Let's do one with objects again. So Universal Containers Human Resource Department wants to use native Salesforce to publish the employee policy handbook. So they want to use native Salesforce to publish the handbook. They need the ability for policies to be approved, and they want version control. Which feature of Salesforce would be best to help meet this request? I'll give you your options on this too. This is one that we have not covered.
I think I know, but yeah, options, please.
Okay. Chatter files, Lightning Knowledge, use an App Exchange app, documents, CRM content.
I was going to say Lightning Knowledge, but that could be wrong because I don't know much about the other ones. So.
Okay, CRM content is the right one. With knowledge, think of help desk article type things.
I gotcha. Okay, so you're not able to like do the versioning and approvals and all that. Okay.
Approval. It has an approval process, I believe. Goodness, that's a good question. I don't know.
But I mean, it's more for like glossaries and like trainings and things like that.
Yeah.
Then okay.
And the answer was CRM what?
Content.
Yeah.
Content. And Salesforce has probably changed the name since I wrote this question too. So who knows? All right, where are we? Back to Kevin. Okay, I think we covered this question last time, but let's ask it again because it's kind of a good one to know. Universal Containers has a fiscal year that follows the Gregorian calendar with a starting month of September. As an admin, how would you configure this requirement?
I think I know the answer. I just need what were the 4 options on there? It's not a custom calendar. It's a standard.
Yep, you're right. It's standard. So
standard 12 month.
It's a standard fiscal year, and you're just setting the month, the starting month. Yeah. Yep. Good. Spencer? And we're doing okay on time. Good. When a user clicks on a tab for a custom object, the default view only shows the name field. As an admin, you want to modify this view to show additional fields. How would you adjust this default view for the Lightning experience? So you click on a tab, it's a custom object, one field shows up, and you want to adjust that view so that you see more data in your custom tab.
Is that when you click like the little gear in the top right and you can click edit page layout and then adjust what's visible there?
That would be true if we were not talking the default view, which is the default view is going to be the recently viewed. And the recently viewed, they don't give us that ability to control it via the gear. I wish they would, because it just makes sense. It's where we would do any other view. It's right there. But in this case, recently used, we don't get that option.
What are the options?
Yep. Okay. Create a new list view, and mark it as a default. Modify the search layout field within the search settings on the custom object. Modify and rename tabs and labels. Click on the gear to adjust the fields to display, which is the one that you said. So you can eliminate D.
I want to say A.
Create a new list view and mark it as a default. Yeah, that one would be easy to probably select that. I have that listed as not the correct answer. The most correct answer would be to modify the search layout field within the search setting of the custom object. So let me go and show you what this one looks like.
And the way that you said that, the most correct, because that's what it is. They're going to give you, I've taken the test before, and they're going to give you stuff that is the correct answer, but what is the most correct answer is what they're looking for. So you're going to.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky one because you could solve it by doing that first one where you just create your own list view and then pin it and make it your default. But in this case, we're going to search layouts and we're controlling it. Where is it at? We're controlling it.
It just doesn't feel intuitive at all.
No, it doesn't. Search layout field. It is this one. Why is it not here though? Default layout custom. Oh, these are our profiles. It is this column. So yeah, it's right here. So there's all of my fields. And if I want, and so this is actually a good example. Exam name is the only thing that would show up. So if I go here to exams, you can see that the name is the default. For the recently used, I don't have the ability to add fields here.
Yeah, every other list view could be edited.
If I change it to all, if I change it to anything other than that, I can adjust it here.
And I don't think you can control the pins for other users, can you?
No, you cannot.
Yeah.
So this is your way to do it. Search layouts, and you can do this specific to each profile here as well. These are all different profiles in this org. So there you go. All right. Here's one we did not cover, Reg. So let's see how you do with this one. What are the types of calculations available when creating a roll-up summary field for a currency? So we have a currency field on a child object. We want to roll that up to the parent. I'll read some of the answers off. You tell me if it's one we can do or not do. Min. We can get the minimum value from a child as a roll up. We have max, sum, total, and average. 3 of those are correct. You're muted.
Minimum and the max and the average.
Okay. Min, max, and sum.
Sum, okay.
So let's see if I try to think if I have I don't know that I have a way of showing you that one quickly. Let me see. I'll share my screen again and we'll try. This may totally fail on us, but I'm doing a roll-up summary right now, defining it, and there's our options. So we have a count, sum, min, and max. So in this use case, I've got number of people who have attempted a question, how many of them got it right, or what the percentage is, and then how many actually, the number that got it right. So I could sum that up. I could do a min, or I could do a max, or count. Okay, that's your roll-up summary fields. I think we will. No, we'll do this one because Ashley, this is a good one to know. This is also a fairly simple one in the last 2 minutes here. When creating a relationship between two objects, what are the types of field? What are the types of fields you can choose? Lookup, hierarchy, child, master detail, many to many. There are 2 correct ones.
Master detail and lookup.
Master detail and lookup. Yep. Awesome. Good job. Good job, guys. As always, nicely done.